Organic Act of Guam, 65th Anniversary. 48 U.S. Code, Section 1421, Territory included under name Guam. The territory ceded to the United States in accordance with the provisions of the Treaty of Peace, signed December 10, 1898, and proclaimed April 11, 1899. The island of Guam and the Marianas Islands shall continue to be known as Guam. Executive Order Number 108-A under President McKinley, December 23, 1898. The island of Guam in the Ladrones is hereby placed under the control of the Department of the Navy. The Secretary of the Navy will take such steps as may be necessary to establish the authority of the United States and to give it necessary protection and government. Senate Bill 1450 and House Resolution 4747, introduced into Congress 1936 to give U.S. citizenship to the people of Guam. Bill S. 1450 passed. H.R. 4747 failed due to opposition from the Navy and Department of State. Citizenship efforts movement suspended due to Japanese occupation. The Guam Congress walkout March 6, 1949, fueled by the dissatisfaction with the military government and the desire for self-government. Breaking point occurred during Governor Poundwall's veto of Guam Congress's subpoena powers. Governor Poundwall fires all but 2 members of the Guam Congress. Carlos P. Taitano successfully garnered the national media on the event. Executive Order Number 10077 under President Truman. Effective date September 7, 1949. Revoked Executive Order Number 108-A. Administration transferred from the Navy to the Department of the Interior. Executive Order Number 10137 under President Truman amend effective date to August 1, 1950. The Organic Act of Guam, August 1, 1950, allowed the civilian government to be semi-autonomous as an unincorporated territory. Granted residents U.S. citizenship. Reserved 36% of land for federal use. Organic Act of Guam Government Provisions. Transfer from military to civilian administration. Executive Branch. Civilian appointed by President. The Legislature, 21-member unicameral. The Judiciary, a local judiciary but without a local Supreme Court. Notable amendments to the Guam Organic Act. Public Law 92-271, April 10, 1972. Non-voting delegate to the House of Representatives. Elective Governor Act, September 11, 1968. Elected Governor and Lieutenant Governor. Establishment of the Guam Supreme Court, 1996. First and Second Political Status Commissions. Created by the Guam Legislature and convened 1973 through 1974 first and 1975 through 1976 second. Decided Guam's political status should be defined first and drafting a constitution should follow. Heavily opposed to the Guam Constitution and led to its defeat. First and Second Guam Constitutional Conventions. First convention convened from 1969 through 1970, and Second Convention convened from 1977 through 78. Sought to address greater self-government and the federal-local relationship with the U.S. and Guam. First Convention recommended 34 changes to the Organic Act. Only 1 was acted upon. Under approval of federal authority, Second Convention drafted a Guam Constitution. Guam Constitution Draft. Motivated by the desire to redefine rather than modify the Guam-U.S. political relationship. Draft approved by the President and Congress. Rejected by 82% of the vote in a 1979 referendum. Reasons. Did not answer political status question and was not a local expression of self-determination. First and Second Commission on Self-Determination, created by the Guam Legislature and convened 1980 through 82, first, and 1984 through 86, second. Stemmed from the failed proposal of the Guam Constitution. Discussed who is self in self-determination and pursued Commonwealth status. Tasked with the draft and submission of the Guam Commonwealth Act to Congress. Guam Commonwealth Act spanned from 1982 through 1997 with multiple drafts and submissions to Congress. Opposition and lack of support from U.S. Congress and White House. Main objections: Chamorro self-determination, immigration, and labor control. Ended during the transfer of the Commission on Self-Determination. Limitations in the current Organic Act. Local citizens are unable to vote for president. No representation in the U.S. Senate. Representation in the U.S. House of Representatives is limited to a delegate. Inability to amend the Organic Act without congressional approval. Where do we go from here? Statehood. Do we pursue statehood with other territories, under another state, or on our own? Free association. Are we ready to be in a conditional relationship with the U.S. that can be terminated? Independence. Should we become our own nation and build relations outside the U.S.?